Celtics Beat, brought to you by PrizePicks.
Today is Thursday, July 3rd, and this is Celtics Beat on CLNS Media, the leading online provider of audio-video coverage of the Boston Celtics. I'm Evan Valenti solo today, and episode 631 features the co-founder and editor of Swish Theory, Matt Powers. And today's show is powered by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the official daily fantasy partner of CLNS Media. Download the app today, use the promo code CLNS, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Welcome on, everybody. Evan Valenti solo on today's Celtics Beat. Adam Kaufman with the holiday weekend coming up, taking the weekend off, letting me do this solo. Very happy to be here with you on a Thursday as we get closer and closer to Summer League action, which I know a lot of you out there, I'm with you. I'm super jacked up for. I love Summer League. I am a sicko. I watch way too much Summer League. Just because I enjoy watching the youth, the next wave of great talent come into the NBA as immediately as they possibly can. Obviously, very Celtics related, but there's also just a bunch. This particular draft class is going to be a lot of fun to watch in the Summer League. Obviously, they're promoting the hell out of Cooper Flag already, but there's going to be a lot of other intriguing names with that. Speaking of intriguing names, Matt Powers. Good afternoon, buddy. Thanks for joining me here today. Yeah. Matt, it's funny. I was thinking about this podcast throughout the week and how I was going to sort of organize it. And I was like, I think we're going to start in a place where first off, I don't think too many podcasts have started in the entire basketball, whether it's college basketball, pro basketball, scouting, the entire realm of basketball. I don't think too many podcasts have started their show right off the jump with Max Shulga. I don't think that conversation has happened at all. As I was doing some research for this thing, I did notice that you can correct me if I'm wrong, if they're your rankings or if they're a compilation of everybody's rankings on your website, that you guys have Max Shulga higher than every other pick the Celtics made, which I find very interesting. So in that sort of realm, is this an example of Max Shulga is a tier above both Hugo Gonzalez and Amari Williams, or is this they're all kind of in the same basket, but the three-point shooting of Shulga is probably the best individual trait and most translatable trait of these three guys, and that's why he's this high?
Yeah, so this is a composite board on our website. I personally and someone else on our team had him first round around 25. I think this other guy on our team had him 17. So that kind of drove up the ranking a lot. I think he has a lot of qualities that look like a reliable backup point guard. He's shoots it out of the gym. He's been on my radar for a few years. I was actually I went to VCU, so I was a big paying attention to what's going on there. And he's kind of a prototypical on and off guard who can shoot from the catch and shoot pull-ups. Really advanced a lot as a passer and point guard, basically, with his ball handling. He's 6'4.5", 6'4.25" in shoes with a 6'6" wingspan, 206 pounds. Pretty physical defender, which is something you don't always get in that same archetype, of the gunners also lock in on defense. But yeah, I see them all in kind of a similar. I get the idea for all three of them. They're all, I think Amari Williams was our lowest at 43, but they're all in the pretty tight range there. So I get the play for all of them, even if I was a little lower on Hugo actually. But Shulga just seems like a pretty reliable day one bet.
In terms of production off the bench, in terms of playing on a G League, when you say pretty surefire bet, I look at things from obviously what he did at VCU is going to be different than what he does with the Celtics when he gets there. You look at his time at VCU, he's oftentimes a lead guard, bringing the ball up, initiating the offense, or, if somebody else is initiating the offense, he's obviously trying to figure out spacing wise on the floor where he needs to fit and kind of moves around without the ball. I see him more of as hey, and this is just kind of the Celtics development plan pretty much since Brad Stevens got there. It's hey, your job right off the jump, we're going to make this very simple for you. Stand over there in the corner, understand that your spacing is very important. We need you to knock down open threes. We need you to attack closeouts, and we need you to hold up sort of on the defensive end as best you can at your size. Is this he can do that right now, or is there more there?
Yeah, I think he can do that like in a bench role. Like he's older. He's like a pretty mature game. I tweeted out this morning like his shooting 3-point stats versus Peyton Pritchard's in college, and like they're pretty equivalent off the catch. And like Shulga was a better shooter off of pull-ups, like 36% versus 30%, and Shulga was a little bit better free throw shooter also, and just like a true like he's been able to get buckets on all three levels. Like he's someone that you have to guard him out pretty deep too. Like he's got a pretty sick like step back. He's easily shot from like 3-point range. There was I think it's NSTAT had like an estimate for like 3-point range, and his average 3-point shot was like 23 feet or something I don't know. It was like one of the deeper ones in the NCAA. So yeah, just the fact that how proficient he is, and he has like a pretty quick release, not the highest release, but it's pretty quick. I see that shooting is bankable. He's not like the most like proactive like passer. He's like more kind of effective ball mover. He like relies a lot on like shallow drives to then like kick it back to his teammates versus like he's definitely a score, like looks to score first guy. But yeah, I think just like his size and like physicality is what makes him kind of day one playable. Like he, not only did he like take a ton of threes, but he also like had a 5% offensive rebound rate and a 50 free throw rate. Like this is like a very physical player, and like 3.3% steal rate. So like he's really like making his presence felt there in a way that I think will translate.
One of the things I as I was watching Max Shulga tape last night, and one of the things talk about him fitting in right away. A lot of what Boston likes to do is, the drive and kick game, drive, kick, swing, all of a sudden that last pass wide open, take the shot, hit it. At VCU, he's often the guy that's swung, and he's the last guy to catch it. He's got a wide open shot and he buries it. I agree that the shot's pretty quick. And what I like about it is I look at his feet, and I love looking at feet of guys that are, when you're making the next leap, and his feet are very, very, it's tight. It's compact. He's not spread out all over the place. He's pointed towards the basket. There's not a lot of moving parts. It's very consistent, which is something we're going to bring up with Hugo Gonzalez later on in the program. It's a very consistent, repeatable motion that even with like guys in his face, or if he's shooting off movement, he still seems to come to the same. Let's use like form. His form is very consistent.
Yeah.
And as you project him forward, it's like, yeah, like if he gets a lot of open shots, he's going to bury a lot of them. He's just got the form's too good. He's not like, he doesn't have any dips. He doesn't have any hitches in his shot. It's all very, very fluid. And as you look for a way to make impacts on an NBA roster, or at least a summer league roster, right? Because, this is the first chance anybody's going to really have a shot to see him within a construct that the Celtics are going to put forth for him. I just see him easily coming in and being a guy of like, hey, I can run stuff if you want me to, but I can also just sit over here, and when you need me to bury an open shot, I will. I will say, as a little bit of a con here, I have a concern that maybe you can help me with, right? I'm not sure, because you play for VCU, and look, it's not like VCU is some awful team. Like VCU for the past 20 years has been like, once Shaka Smart showed up and everything kind of went, he was amazing. So the program has been elevated. But you talk about competition, level of competition, and then you talk about athleticism, right? I'm not sure that his athleticism translates to the NBA level, and it's hard to evaluate considering the competition. Where do you stand on that? Is this something that people should be concerned about? It's like, look, he dominated the competition. He was at VCU. He shouldn't have any problem doing that with other like guys as he makes the next step to the G League or to the NBA. Yeah,
I mean, athleticism was why I ranked like Peyton Pritchard super low, and like very regrettably so. I would feel a lot more worried about the athleticism. He only had like 11 dunks over like his 5-year career or something like that. I would be more worried if he didn't get a ton of steals. Like his hands are really, really good while being also very physical. So like if you're going to be in a switch heavy scheme, he loves like rotating as like the tag to the basket. I think he can be a pretty plug and playable defender which even despite his, like, he's not the quickest guy, but he can slide pretty well. I'm just really like banking a lot on him being able to hang in there, and then like the shooting being like so reliable that it makes up for his, like, he's not going to be dunking on people, but he's also like, he's really good at getting to the lane and playing off of 2 feet and like pivoting and drawing a foul that way. And that kind of stuff can translate pretty well. Also, he kind of has some like stuff that Con Knipple does in that similar way.
Yeah, he does this one move I like a lot. Again, I'm slightly concerned about it being effective at the next level, but he's good with it in college. But he has this move. He likes to drive right a lot, stop on 2 feet and then kind of fade away from his defender. In college it worked. Again, we'll see if it works in the NBA. But one thing I love about him, and this is, it kind of goes both ways a little bit. There are points in which I think Shulga plays with exceptional pace, where like he knows exactly what he's doing at the right time. He's setting guys up. He might not be flying by guys, like he's not De'Aaron Fox, he's not Tyrese Maxey, he's not Shai Gilgeous, he's not that north-south speed. That's not his thing. Yeah. But it doesn't mean he can't get by guys. But there are moments in which, like, I watch and I'm like, man, he's like a little too slow, a little too deliberate, and a little like not playing with it enough pace, because it's like, you're trying to figure out exactly where your spot is on the floor and how to get there, how to make all that work in tandem together. Does that concern you at all? Because sometimes, like, as a Celtics fan, as we watch Celtics play, one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have, and this killed them against the Knicks, is just too slow, too methodical, not knowing when to speed things up, trying to play too much one-on-one. Because sometimes, like with Shulga, his usage rate is pretty good for a guy that is, I'll call a co-ball handler or a co-initiator. Like his usage rate is good, but I think sometimes he gets bogged down a little too bit and a little bit too deliberate. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the appeal of fitting into in the Celtics system. Actually, I think he would fit well in that he doesn't have to be that primary guy who's like conducting everything. I don't think that's a role that he fits naturally into. I would much prefer to like flex him off ball more. But yeah, I can see him. I think he wants to be a ball mover. Like he's pretty effective like that. It's more the more manipulative passing that I think he doesn't really have. But I think he can make those quick decisions still. I mean, more quick decision making than like driving to the paint like hard and stuff like that. I think, as you mentioned, like his 2-point like pull up needs to be there. I think as a like important counter. Like it was like his mid-range pull-up was like okay this year. That was kind of the one. It was like 38%, which will not be efficient in the NBA. So like I think that counter is really important. But yeah, I think he can still be a quick decision maker. I saw that definitely more like in years past when he was on ball less.
Yeah, there's going to be a spot for him, and we'll see with future trades. But I look at him and I'm like, can he do a similar bit? Can he fill a similar role to like a Sam Hauser, right? Sam Hauser, undrafted out of Virginia, spent some time in the Celtics G League, but is ultimately like a really good defender. Like there's a great quote. I think it's Drew Holiday said it last year, or maybe the year before. Like even our white guys defend on this team, which I think is pretty funny. I think Shulga can help out there. But Hauser, who just became an automatically good 3-point shooter the day he walked on the NBA floor, I believe he's been 40% or above every season he's played in the NBA. Yeah. I see a similar trajectory there, possibly for Shulga if things go well. Does that seem like a lofty comparison, or does that make a lot of sense for you?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough. I mean Hauser is like one of the all-time shooting resumes, so that's like really hard to compare. And like has height in the way that Shulga doesn't. But I think Shulga can switch in a more effective way sometimes. He's not great, like the best at getting through screens, but if you're switching everything, he can like hang in there and you can't dribble. If you're bigger than him, you can't dribble low against him still, like you won't move him a ton, even NBA level. So yeah, on offense, it would be, if he shot over 40% every year, which I think is possible, but probably not Hauser levels. Hauser's like 90% from the line all the time, right?
He's unbelievable. I mean, it's so like the sad part is he's probably going to get traded, and C's fans are going to have to watch him just be unbelievable for somebody else. But the guy, there were moments where Sam Hauser will catch it up here and just fling it from here, and you're like, how does anybody do it? But he does it all the time, and you're like, this guy's like you said, one of the all-time shooters that we've seen recently. And the fact that he went undrafted in a league that prioritizes 3-point shooting is just bananas to me.
And you got Scheierman coming in. I think I'd see Scheierman playing more of the spot up role than Hauser. I don't know what you think of his game overall.
I can tell you right now that the fan base is extremely excited for Baylor Scheierman, and there was a stretch. I want to say in January, February, Hauser had a rough season to start. He was hurt. He had a back issue and was trying to deal with that. At a certain point, the Celtics kind of took him out of the lineup, played Scheierman instead. And, it took him a couple of games to kind of find his footing, but Scheierman I'm a huge fan. It took him a minute to find his footing, but he fits right in. And the one thing I love about Scheierman, talk about a ball mover, talk about a guy that is not afraid to penetrate in the lane with his dribble and kick out to open shooters. And I'm a sucker for a lefty shooter. As a guy who's played pickup against lefties and forgot for 20 minutes that they're a lefty, then all of a sudden you have to readjust. I love stuff like that. He had a game where you saw the potential where I think he hit 3 or 4 threes in the first half, and you're like, oh yeah, this guy's he just needs a little time to get comfortable, get in rhythm, and he's going to be just fine. And as we've all at that time, I want to say, I forget what game it was, but it was there's the Hauser replacement right there. He might not be as good of a shooter as Sam Hauser, but he's going to get close. Yeah. And if he can get close with some other things, then we can see how that could replace. I'm very, very high on Scheierman. Were you?
I'd change my methodology a bit this year, where I would be a lot higher on him, just because I'm prioritizing safe bets out of the lotto more, where I think he's just such a reliable bench player. And I definitely worried about the athleticism, but he's so smart taking the right angles on defense and can handle the post a little bit.
I just got mad that he took his hair completely gone and it just started anew with this buzz cut. And I was like, oh, come on, man. The locks were doing it for me when you were in college, but it's all right. As long as he keeps hitting 3-pointers, we're going to be all set. We're going to take a quick break, talk to our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everybody. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. That's 2 with 3 zeros. That's nuts. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. I talk about flex play on the show all the time. I use it constantly. It bails me out more often than I'd like to admit, as you guys have been paying attention to the show. And the reason why I use it is because sometimes, when your lineup isn't perfect, you can still win some money. Maybe not necessarily with the play I'm about to show you, but sometimes, look, if I 1X, that's totally fine with me. Never going to complain about that if I don't hit all 3. And the flex play allows you to do that. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. And with some MLB action this weekend, I'm taking a couple of different weird ones. We're going with Rafi Devers, which breaks my heart. Rafi Devers, more than 0.5 hits, runs, RBIs in his game Thursday night. Aaron Judge, more than 1.5 total bases. Now, the Yankees have been getting their clocks cleaned by the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to just hop on the Aaron Judge train, the guy that's been maybe one of the best hitters in all of baseball this year. We're going to hop on him. More than 1.5 total bases against the Blue Jays. And James Wood, who's just been ridiculous to start this year. I'm going to go with more than 0.5 total bases. Flex play, if I hit all 3, that's 3 for 3. I get 3x or 0.75x. So I get 2 out of 3. So I don't lose all of my money, just lose a little bit of money, which, look, that's kind of a win. I'm not going to lie. And getting your money couldn't be any easier. In little as 15 minutes, watch the money roll into your account. PrizePicks uses Venmo. Easiest way to do it. You can just drop your Venmo into your account. Super easy. Download the app today. That's PrizePicks. Use the code CLNS and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the PrizePicks app. Code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, we're back here with Matt Powers. Just had a Shulgasm. I don't even know how to explain this, but just talking over Max Shulga, who I spent an hour yesterday getting more familiar with and just trying to understand exactly what he brings to the table. I'll tell you this, though. Before we get into Amari Williams, because I do want to talk a little bit about him, as someone who's done this for a while, what is the difference in evaluating Kentucky prospects right now? Because you had Coach Cal, who's the one and done maestro. I mean, he when I was going to Syracuse, he had just had John Wall and Boogie Cousins and Anthony Davis and all these guys. It was an unbelievable factory to watch guys come out to some success and some not success. Right? It was kind of a mixed bag with Calipari's guys. How is it different now trying to evaluate guys coming out of Mark Pope's system? He hasn't been there a long time, so there's not a ton of data for that right now. But is it any different than it was back when Cal was running the ship?
Yeah, I mean, he loves his like big man passers. It seems very important for like Amari Williams evaluation. But,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot more satisfying to me to watch as a viewer than like Cal having his guards like run into the wall over and over again. But yeah, I don't know. They have really great ball movement, a lot of motion. You can see how the parts fit in an NBA offense, I think, better than at Cal's system. But yeah, Amari is someone I think I kind of like dismissed him a little bit just because like Kentucky, everyone's like 23 years old and like of course they should be dominating. But I slept on him a little bit, came more on board later in the cycle and ended up pretty high on him.
Just to back you up on the Calipari thing, I went back. I forget why I did this, but I went back and looked at the Anthony Davis year. I think Anthony Davis took like 8 shots a game, which is like the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. If you watched, and Matt can speak to this, if you watched Anthony Davis, and I'm speaking right to the viewer right now. If you watched Anthony Davis at college, him taking 8 shots a game is criminal, absolutely criminal. He was like an alien dropped down from outer space amongst all the other guys to the floor. Like again, I hate doing this, but I was at Syracuse at the time, and we were extremely competitive. We're in fights in Kentucky for the number 1 seed overall. We were a 1 seed, but we did not get the number 1 overall seed for the tournament that year. But I remember being like, if we have to play Anthony Davis, like, we have no chance. That guy is gonna get it. Like, I'm sorry, I love Fab Melo, but Fab Melo's gonna get eaten alive by Anthony Davis. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's criminal.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because like the thing that stands out, as you said, with Amari is the passing stuff. What's the first time you watched Amari Williams and you chuckled because he made an outrageous pass you didn't expect him to make?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I more often watch like the people around him versus like focusing really on him. But then you keep drawing your attention to it just because like he's a real passing talent, I would say. I don't know. I think there's an open question like his level of like feel overall and his like ability to like totally manipulate things, but he's such a good passing talent. He can hit really small windows. He turned 23, so you'd hope he's fully developed his like skill set. But I mean, he had such a huge responsibility. He still like turned it over a decent amount. That's again why I mentioned like the feel thing, but he had a really tough job. Like good screener too. I love a good combination of like screener and passer who can like create that gap and then like capitalize on it. But yeah, he's I was like watching which game today versus Missouri, and it was just like clipping every minute of like skip pass that he made or like finding a cutter. It's really like the frequency of his high level passing was like super impressive.
Yeah, there are moments where he'll catch. What's funny is because like you don't play him to he. Let's just get this out of the way. He's not a shooter. He's just not going to be a shooter. But it's so funny because people play him to pass, right? Like he'll catch the ball top of the key, like whether he's at the nail or the free throw line or at the top of the key, like in that area, right? And he'll do like a ball fake, and to watch the whole defense like slide and open up the middle of the lane for him to take a couple of dribbles and just yam it down. I'm like, it's such an interesting prospect. Again, coming from a a Celtics perspective of guys like we've watched Al Horford for a long time. We've watched Kristaps Porzingis the past couple of years, like guys that can shoot it from like go back to Kevin Garnett. Like Kevin Garnett was a good shooting big man. To watch a guy at center like fake people out with the pass and then have the whole world open up is like so unique. And it literally made me like somebody put out there, I think draft night, second night, someone put out there a highlight reel of just Amari Williams passes. And like the second or third one, I had to pause it because I was laughing my ass off. It was like, you don't see too many, and again, him being 23, I think helps with this, but you don't just see too many rookie big men come into the NBA and make passes like this. And he's coming to a team like as we all know on the show, there are more moves coming for the Boston Celtics. Obviously, the roster isn't finalized yet, but as of right now, the depth in front of Amari Williams is Neemias Queta, Max Shulga's former teammate at Utah State. You have Xavier Tillman, who could not get any playing time last year, and Luka Garza, who's everybody's favorite, college player of the year. I would assume things will change, but as of right now, Matt, could you see Williams maybe cracking that rotation? Doesn't seem like it would be tough.
Yeah, I don't see after that list of names. I don't really see why not. I mean, he's a pretty good rim protector. That's like he'll be asked to do a lot in that role. He was like an unbelievably good rebounder. I think like every year he was in college, especially on defense. But I did see him like he gets taken out plays here and there. Again, like I wish he doesn't have like perfect technique, like for like a Celtics big, you're used to like taking the perfect route on defense. Like if you're used to Al Horford like dropping and stuff like that, you'll be a little like disappointed. But he's a great shot blocker. He's a 7'6" wingspan, like physical enough, like can like again bang on the boards. Those are things that get you playing time pretty quickly. I do wonder how the passing will fit in exactly. He'll have to be like a really good screener, I think, but there's a lot of potential there, especially if you're going to run more like dribble handoffs where he can then like attack from a straight line off of that when he keeps it. There's routes to him like having like value in a few different ways with this skill set.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Rob Williams a couple of years ago, right? Someone who, at uber athletic. I mean, it's too bad that the knees went because Rob Williams at full health was an athletic marvel. I think they had him at 6'8", 6'9", but he played so much bigger than that the height didn't matter. Like the wingspan was ridiculous. His way to attack closeouts, he was extremely good at that. His leaping ability was like in a different world. And he had a little bit of passing game to him. Like I'm not going to say that Rob couldn't do that, but very similar. Like the jump shot is rough. I think Amari, for being a 23-year-old, is a little bit too reliant on his left hand. Like I know he's very left hand dominant, and like I get that, but dude, he doesn't really use the right hand at all to do a whole lot of stuff. So I think it'd be if he's going to make an impact on the roster, it's going to be because he defensively can get a little bit up to speed, but the rebounding is a big issue. And this team, as currently constituted, especially Jason Tatum not in the picture probably until March, this team's going to have a big rebounding hole, like a ginormous one. And if he can find a way to just eat up on the glass, like I'm not trying to compare him to Mitchell Robinson, but a guy that I've watched just absolutely destroy the Celtics on the glass for a couple of straight years because they don't have a guy nearly that good to rebound against him. Can he be a Mitchell Robinson type of like securing rebounds and then like maybe a little Isaiah Hartenstein where he's a really good ball mover? Is there like a hybrid there? Is that out of the question?
Yeah, I mean, I think the swing thing with him is like how good he'll be at switching. I think he moves like pretty well. They had him guard like wings a bunch of the time that I was watching. So I think that's something that's like kind of unique for somebody with the 7'6" wingspan too, who can kind of like fit into like I feel like he's a tweener between a lot of different types of bigs. He's like just super unique skill set. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he'll help you a lot on the glass for sure. Like just putting bodies on people. I mean, he still had like a 10% offensive rebound rate even while he's like conducting out from like the perimeter all the time. So that's something, yeah, you can rely on him pretty quickly day one.
Yeah, he's I'm out of all the guys, I'm like secretly kind of most excited for Amari just because you just don't find too many bigs with vision like that. I know Yang Hansen got drafted because he's the Chinese Jokic, and maybe Amari Williams is the British Jokic or something like that. You don't see too many guys with vision like that in at any level, and like just to have a 7-foot playmaker like that can be kind of fun. Just a quick reminder, everybody, that make sure you subscribe to the show on whatever you get your podcasts on, like whether it's iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get them. Make sure you subscribe, you like it, you leave a review, and if you're watching the show on our YouTube channel, again, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the Celtics All Access YouTube channel. You can find our show, a bunch of other great Celtics content all the time. Again, at our Celtics All Access YouTube channel, and make sure you turn your notifications on so you can see when new shows are dropping. We'll wrap up here with their first round pick, Hugo Gonzalez, who I'm going to be honest with you, Matt, was not on my radar. Just wasn't at all on my radar. I was looking more for a big guy. I was, Maxime Renault and then Ryan Kalkbrenner. I was more focused on something like that. I had some crushes in the second round, like a Kobe Brea, who I think is just an unbelievable shooter. I really liked Zion James. I thought maybe like as a Swiss Army knife type of guy. I was looking at those type of molds. I wasn't really looking at a guy playing for Real Madrid as the guy the Celtics would look into in the first round. But it seems like they've been on him for quite some time. Stevens mentioned they've been looking at Gonzalez for years. Was there a surprise level to him getting chosen in the first round when you heard his name called for the first time?
I'm not surprised he went first round, but I'm definitely surprised he went to the Celtics. That's not like I mean, I can see in some ways it's really appealing swing, even like once you get to late first when you don't find young guys that have dominated at a certain level, and he was like pretty dominant in the Spanish second division, and when he played FIBA ball and like for U18 stuff, like he was just like such a like ridiculous defender in particular, that I can see them being like, okay, he's going to be I can see them after they drafted Jordan Walsh drafting Hugo Gonzalez. Like the more I think about it, just like defense first, questionable shooting, questionable ball handling, but like they're going to play their ass off, right? Like Hugo, he has some accolades, playing. It's hard to blame him for not getting playing time this year. He didn't really ever like click with the the Real Madrid top league roster, but I mean he's playing behind like Mario Hezonja and like Zaman Musa from the Nets, who's like their entire starting five would be NBA players.
Yeah, I went through the roster like the day after. There's like 10 former NBA guys on there. Serge Ibaka's on that team. It's like Mario Hezonja, former top 10 picks on that team. It's like, yeah, I kind of get why the 18-year-old didn't get any run on this team full of NBA guys. It's like, yeah, I kind of get it. Selfishly, I'm mad, but I do understand why he didn't quite crack the rotation too often. I was listening to Vicini in my car the next day, and I heard it, and then I forgot about it, and then I looked it up later, and then my brain blew up. And at 19 years old, he's 220 pounds. Like that's a tank, dude.
Yeah, he measured. It seemed like all the European guys just like measured better than expected, which someone's like, but he measured like 6'6.25" without shoes, like 6'10" wingspan, 222 pounds. That's a big dude. That's like a wing size player, and he's basically been playing shooting guard, So that like, and he's like a pretty athletic player. Again, that like hustling physicality. He's like when he can't really dribble, but when he gets a clear line to the rim, he's going to attack it, So I get the upside appeal, even if it's not the swing. I mean, they actually went backwards on my board. I had Hugo the lowest, then Amari, then Shulga at highest. But yeah, I get it, even if it's not really the swing I would take personally, because I just don't think the offense will really be there.
The one thing you know, in like I call it, he brings chaotic energy, like just balls to the wall. As much as you possibly can while you're out there. And like, he wasn't out there a lot, so maybe that's part of the reason why you saw it that way. But like, you put him on, and like one of the first things you see is him just crashing the offensive glass and getting a lot of his points off tip ins and tip dunks and just being in the right place at the right time, which I love. There are moments where you watch him and you're like, wow, he gets by guys like pretty routinely. Like, he has a pretty good first step. He knows what to do when he gets guys on his hip, and then he explodes the basket. Like, I love that he has this never ending thirst for attacking the rim, which with a team full of 3-point shooters is something they clearly desperately need. But there are some reserves in this, one being like his overall dribbling capability, his feel, et cetera, et cetera. Which one of those concerns you the most? The shooting ability, the feel for the game, maybe all of it wrapped up into one? Like, help me out here.
I think his feel is decent. He makes some like good passes. He has a like decent history of passing. Like, I think his court mapping is good. His technique is not, I think. Like, every time he gets the ball, like his first step is really good, but every time he gets the ball, you're like, that is borderline of travel, like in his first step. Like, he's not good at just like planting and like moving. So yeah, I think the feel stuff is like I'm more comfortable with, just because like it's really hard to play like 7 minutes a game and like get caught up on the speed of the game when you're playing at this level consistently for the first time, and like on the best team in Europe, basically, so it's really hard to blame him for that. But the technical stuff just has not really advanced over the past few years. I mean, you should go back and watch some of U18 stuff. Like, this guy is just like a dominant athlete. Like beating everyone transition, just like getting all these like pick sixes. So I think he has that capability, but I think it's a question of exactly where his athleticism lies on an NBA level. Like, is it elite or just like very good? That could be the difference between his success margins, I think, because I don't think the shot's going to fall. I don't have very much faith in that, really.
Yeah, when it's good, I can see it, but he does have a hitch. Like, he does drop it every single time. It always comes down before it comes back up. Marcus Smart had a similar hitch when he came into the NBA, and he straightened it out a little bit, smidge. It never got totally gone. Again, when it's good, it's clean, it's compact, but like, let's be honest, Matt, it's like it doesn't happen all that often, does it?
Yeah, right. Like you mentioned, it takes a while to wind up. He'll be the guy people leave open, and like maybe he's coordinated enough, but I don't know. I really think the motor covers up for so many of his like flaws when he was playing at the lower level. But yeah, it's just I get nervous when I see skills stop progressing, even if he's playing like limited minutes. And the shot maybe even looks like worse than it. I mean, it's been pretty consistently like 30% below 30%. So yeah, it's the technical stagnation that's my concern, I would say.
How hard of an evaluation is this guy? I mean, how far back do you have to go to find enough film where you're like, I can make a judgment, or I can make at least an assessment of his skill? Because again, he's only playing 7 minutes a game. It's hard to get in a good basketball rhythm in only 7 minutes. Like, and he's only getting 7 minutes for particular reasons. And as I'm trying to watch, it's like I can't really find too much like live unless I watched it in real time. I have a hard time going back and finding clips that will encompass all of his skills, or at least give me a good snapshot of what his skills look like. How hard was an eval when you were going back and watching him?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely got more complex just like once I got his measurements. I mean, like, oh, this guy, maybe it makes sense that he's a little less coordinated technically if he's like that, like more of a wing size than a guard. But I mean, he's been in the Real Madrid system since he was like 9 years old, you know, like that was the type of place where you would be very dedicated to technique and like these like getting the basic things right. And like I don't see that like a home for him offensively. Just like, yeah, I mean, you should go back as far as you can with draft analysis, and you'll never feel fully comfortable with any analysis, you know.
That's the cold hard truth right there. It's like you'll never know.
No, it's really difficult. But yeah, I lean towards like I prefer to go like stats heavy with most things, but like shooting is one thing you just have to go eye test on because all these samples are insignificant. And I just like that's the big swing thing for him. If he can hit those open shots and gets closeouts, then that first step looks really, really good. But you have to kind of like you have to make guesses on people's shooting when you're ranking, when you're taking this big investment in them. And like if the Celtics are comfortable in their shooting coaches, you know, there are worse swings that I could end up looking really like stupid if that shot comes around.
Well, I mean, I don't think you'll be alone in that. I would assume that a lot of people had similar thoughts that you do, and we'll get you on here on this map as we talk about the Celtics and their draftees here, and we'll finish up with Gonzalez just because first round pick. What would you need to see? Because obviously we're gonna have summer league in a little bit, and I don't know if it's been officially announced yet, but I'm considering he's signed his contract, met Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, everybody. I'm gonna assume he's gonna play in summer league. What would you need to see in summer league to be like, you know what? Maybe I was off on that. Is it just a jump shot? Is there something else that you could see that would be like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe there's more to him than I originally thought.
I think it's the passing because like the passing was like really strong. Like he had good assist rates when he was playing U18 ball against like same age competition. So maybe taking that step down from Real Madrid to this level, he'll get the pace will pick up quicker. He'll pick up on the pace quicker. And if you go back and just like watch, like rep his assists, like watch all those, he makes some like really tough reads. It's more the like dribbling stuff where he gets in trouble with the turnovers. So I could see him coming out and like just like averaging 3.5, 4.5 assists per game, like just with more ball handling responsibilities, even if the handle's not perfect.
I'm excited for all three guys, but I'll say like because the enigma of Gonzalez, I'll be like salivating over every play that's good, and I'll be kicking myself over every play that sucks, and it's just gonna be one of these times where I hope the goods outweigh the bad, so I can talk myself into Hugo being a contributor sooner rather than later. That is Matt Powers. He's the editor, co-founder of a tremendous website, Swish Theory. I was using their sliders on their draft guide. If you're like looking for a certain play type, like a player type, you could toggle some things. And Matt's draft board would shrink into the players those are the players that are at this level, like 75%, like, or at this level. This is what you need to be looking at with great breakdowns on each player. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time, especially during the holiday weekend, to sit with me and chat about three guys that we're all really excited for. Appreciate your time. Anywhere else we can find you on the internet in terms of your stuff besides like X and Blue Sky and all that stuff?
Those are the main ones. Yeah. The swishtheory.com and me at DraftPal on Twitter. But yeah, thanks so much for having me, Evan.
Appreciate your time, folks. Make sure you, first off, give Matt a follow on Twitter. Again, it's at DraftPow, DRAFTPOW. Make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify. We promote our YouTube channel, Celtics All Access on CLNS. You're gonna find us, our episodes there, our clips there. We're all over the place on that particular subsection of CLNS's big, ginormous conglomerate of channels. Here's where you're gonna find us there. For Matt, for myself, and for Adam on vacation, thank you guys so much for joining us here today. See you next week right here on Celtics Beat on CLNS Media.